Sports talk, turn it up, tap in. South Coast sound, let the talk begin. Boston roots, local pride. Real fans talking, no place to hide. Wins and losses, highs and lows. Draft day buzz, trade rumors flow. Game nights, debates get loud. Unfiltered takes for a loyal crowd. From youth field to the big leagues. History, headlines, hard to smoke, yeah. No script here, just straight talk, press play now. Bubba White Sports Talk. Bubba White Sports Talk. Bubba White Sports Talk. Bubba White Sports Talk. Bubba White Sports Talk.
All right, 508, welcome back. I'm here with my two guys, Andrew.
What's up, 508?
Ryan.
How's it going, 508?
All right, everybody, welcome back. We took like 2 weeks off this time. We don't like to take this much time off. But, schedules are getting tight for everybody, especially with spring sports.
Baseball starting
What
up.
are you doing with spring sports?
Between my son's travel team, then his rec team, and then helping run the league. I mean, it's
You got plenty of time on your hands.
Yeah, plenty of time. Oh, yeah, and I have a job that I need to pay the bills, wife and kids. We're just
Ryan, something similar going on?
Son's flag football. I work a job, one of those jobs, two of those jobs.
Yeah.
Kids, we got it all.
We all got stuff going on. So once again, we want to thank Wayland City Youth Baseball League for allowing us to do this here. We wanted to kind of come back here just to kind of promote, especially next Sunday. If you guys ain't doing anything, anybody ain't, come down, it's opening day. It's the best day of the year around here. A lot of work, a lot of preparation goes into this league and to all the leagues in the area. To all, like he does flag football, they do travel. All of these leagues, it takes a lot. A lot of volunteers. Just a lot of people to organize all this stuff for the kids. And just remember these people sometimes. When you bring your kids to sports, you bring them out there, just remember the people behind the scenes that are making it all happen for these kids, because 90% of them don't get paid.
Yeah, when we talk about multiple jobs, the rec league and all that stuff, that's not one of them.
They're not paying
as much as people might want to think we get paid.
Yeah. It's just, but again, just realize that, people. And again, thank you to Wayland City. Next Sunday, I think the parade starts at 10.
Yes.
10-ish.
10-ish.
Takes off right here from Ashley School in New Bedford. Come check it out. Again, Wayland City Youth Baseball League, opening day, 76 years. Come out, check it out. There'll be thousands of people here.
It should be sun too.
I know, it should be sun.
So
should be sunny and nice. So let's get things started, guys, right away. We were going to start it off a little differently as of yesterday, but then the Red Sox happened. Yesterday afternoon, late afternoon, early evening. Cora, pretty much everybody but the pitching staff, but the pitching coaches, went. So, Andrew, it's your favorite team. Let's talk about that a little bit.
It's a dangerous move letting me go first. But you open up that can of worms.
Well, I had to, because I know you have an opinion.
It's actually unbelievable, just the amount of denial that this Red Sox ownership group has and what's actually wrong with this team. People can complain about Alex Cora and how he has his flaws as a manager, but he's one of the best managers in baseball. And I guarantee you next year, whatever openings are up, if he wants to take an opening, he'll take an opening. You can't give a guy a crap overall roster, right? Or I shouldn't say crap, a flawed, extremely flawed
That's
roster.
what it is, I think. It's the flaws.
And expect him to win. And, guys like Jeff Passan will report that their internal projections and some external projections from other teams had them as a playoff team. But numbers don't win you games, and that's what this ownership group has really lost sight of, right? You need good players. You need to have the right players at the right time. And we've touched on this, but expecting Roman Anthony to be your the guy who is the engine that makes your offense go at 21 years old with 60 games under his
It's
belt
dumb.
is unreal. Even a guy like Xander Bogaerts, when he took over in 2013, you had a veteran lineup, or well, in the playoffs in 2013, but they asked him to just be at the bottom of the lineup. They had him play third base, and they said, hey, just play good defense at third base, focus on that, and just give us good at-bats. That's all they asked him for. And even the next year, it wasn't like he was great, but it was the year after that. It was finally when, and he came up as a 21-year-old, right? So same thing with Devers. Like, they brought him up, and they kind of eased him into it. With Roman Anthony, they threw him right into it. Then you take out Devers. Then you take out Bregman. It's just, there's so many issues with this team to just now suddenly say, oh, we're 10-17, and now you're the problem, and we're going to get rid of you, you know? And I mean, I could do a whole segment on Driveline and how that's the real underlying issue with this team on their hitting philosophy, how it failed in Philadelphia. The second they left Philadelphia, John Henry was like, ooh, more analytics, and they invested in Driveline, and that's what Christian Campbell is. Christian Campbell is a Driveline, like,
guy.
Baby.
Yeah, right.
And, you know, that's why they invested in him right away.
Is it, just to kind of touch base before Ryan gets his opinion, that drive line stuff in Philly, ain't they like done with it? It's apparent,
yeah, so they got rid of it in 2022.
Right.
The second they got rid of it, the Red Sox picked it up and have had it ever since.
Yeah, great move, guys.
Right, and the reason the Phillies got rid of him, the reason the Phillies got rid of him is because it was creating, in part, this kind of disconnect in their organization. So, like, the baseball people and the scouting department was blaming the player development, and the player development was blaming the scouting.
So basically, what's happening here, almost.
Basically,
yeah. So,
and the common denominator, and that was right after they made the playoffs and lost to the Astros.
Right.
So, I could go on and on.
Yeah, we know.
Alex Cora is a scapegoat. I think he's one of the best managers in baseball. Very little is his fault. It's this ownership group. They need to sell the team. They're selling Yankees merchandise now.
Oh, that was. Go ahead, Ryan. What opinions here?
Well, I mean, you know, there's a lot of layers to the onion, but Andrew was probably the best one to talk about it. You would think, you know, going into the season, I had my doubts about what the offense was going to look like. I said that, you know, it was nice to see him score 17 runs yesterday, but, you know, most of it was at the end of the game. It was one game. I thought the pitching was going to be awesome. I watched Crochet out there looking off at times. You know, he looked good this week, but, like, I don't know, it just doesn't look good. Someone has to take the fall, you know. It's always usually the manager. I have friends that are cheering, get rid of Breslow, like, hating on everyone. It's dysfunctional. It sucks. 10-17 team. We were hoping they were going to be a playoff team, and it's not good right now. I kind of agree with Andrew. I do think Cora's a pretty good, you know, manager, but that's my opinion. I know people that hate him. I don't know. I hope it gets better. It has to get better, right? I mean, it's going to get worse before it gets better, but it's just been a rough start to the year, and that was not a surprising move, in my opinion, just seeing that happen. You need to see something, make a statement, and it's usually the manager that goes.
Right. I mean, and so my opinion real quick on the whole situation is kind of what you guys touched on. I think we, over the last like week to two, we kind of, it was starting to happen, but I think over the last week or two, we kind of seen it like something has to give. This can't stay. With media, the way the media was going, the way you started seeing Cora kind of, I'll admit, some of the stuff he did in the lineup, I don't think he necessarily thought was the best thing for the team. He was almost, to me, sending a message at some points to the people upstairs in the lineups he was creating. And what's the kid there? The kid that came from Milwaukee.
Caleb Durbin.
Caleb Durbin. So he's been a talking point all year. Why was he hitting number 2? You know why he was hitting number 2, in my opinion? I think, again, that was Cora sending a message. My number 2 hitter was Bregman. My number 2 hitter was Devers. This is the guy you guys brought in to replace him. So guess what? Yeah. I'm hitting him at number 2, which ain't the right move either. I think he was doing it a little bit. So that's creating the stuff you talked about that was happening in Philly to me, where it was kind of Breslow versus Cora. Cora versus the ownership group. So it sucks because, again, I agree. I think the wrong guy got let go, in my opinion. I was kind of hoping, but the thing is I don't know what it would have done. I was kind of hoping there was people talking about Cora going upstairs, getting rid of Breslow, Cora going upstairs, Varitek kind of taking over but what would that change? Like, I kind of agree that if Breslow stays, you needed to get rid of everybody.
Well,
My opinion.
Well, what changes though is like it's the things you can't really like quantify, right? So even last year, when the Sox were trying to make deals, there was a reported feeling amongst the other GMs that the other GMs couldn't just talk to Breslow. Like he doesn't know how to relate to people.
Oh,
So he's a super smart guy, right? And he's John Henry loves him because he's super into analytics, but he just couldn't. When you negotiate these trades, sometimes you just got to have a personality to you. Like
that's the word.
Breslow
Right.
couldn't do what Theo did and Jed Hoyer did back in 2003. If they flew to Arizona to try to get Kurt Schilling on Thanksgiving Day to agree to come to the Red Sox in a trade,
Right.
Breslow would fumble that because he can't sit down
doesn't
and
have
have
that.
that type of thing, right? And then,
Yeah.
I mean, Cora could eventually be a good GM, but the Sox will never have him as a GM because he's too much of the guy. He's more like, I'm not calling him Theo. He's more like Theo than he is Breslow, where he wants that mix of, give me the numbers, but there's baseball stuff that you have to take into account.
Hey, you would think Henry, with the success he had with Theo and that type of guy, well, Theo's there now still. I mean, obviously in a much lesser role when it comes to all of
question how
this.
much he's there, yeah.
But I honestly think that Cora's next job will be a GM. So.
Well, he's talked about how he eventually wants to be a GM because where the age his family's at, with his kids and stuff, right? Being a GM, you're definitely a lot more flexible in being able to be there and spend time with your family rather than obviously as the manager, you're always traveling, right? As the GM, you can either be based in Boston, occasionally travel with the team, but you can kind of do that back and forth. And the real thing about this, I think we touched about it sort of in the when we did our episode of Vote. The real issue here is, and it might be a bigger issue as the years go on with sports, is now allowing these private equity firms to invest in these teams. So that's part of it, right? So like John Henry sold, and his ownership group sold a part of their ownership to some private equity firms. Do you think those private equity firms care about winning baseball?
No.
Like we talked about, they just care about the profits. And one thing I can go back, I wanted to touch on that Alex Cora probably really irked him when you mentioned about doing these lineup things. Don't forget, 2 years ago when they sucked, kind of like they do now, which has been a theme. But he made a comment. Oh, when he re-signed his deal. Oh, yep, we talked. There's gonna be an investment in this team and this and that. And
I
blah,
remember
blah, blah.
that.
And then they go out and they got Bregman, right? And you're like, okay, they're making moves. Maybe they're gonna build, right? You get Bregman. You have these young kids coming up. You're gonna mix that together like you did in 2007, right? In 2007, you still had Manny, Ortiz, but you got Pedroia came up, Ellsbury came up.
Right.
You were kind of mixing it all together, right? And they did that for 1 year. Then they got rid of Alex Cora's guy in Bregman, right? So where's all the investment going? So now if you're Alex Cora, you're like, wait a second.
You lied
and
to
it's
me.
the same thing they did with Devers. That's why last year when people were blaming Devers for all this mess, and they're like, oh, he should have. I'm like, why? If someone lies to you and tells you one thing and then goes and does something else, why are you now going to want to do what they ask you?
You're going to feel some kind of way
Same thing
about
happened
it.
with Cora.
Right.
It's becoming a pattern where they tell someone something just to get them what they want, then they like renege on it like the next day.
So basically what we're saying is
sell the team.
Sell the team. Sell the team. We're done. All right. So, again, we wanted to sell the Red Sox today. Apparently, Andrew has strong opinions on this.
It's my favorite team
I know,
of all time.
I know.
I live and die by this Red Sox team.
And it's hard when they've just been for so long.
And this ownership group was like the love of the town, where you win 4 World Series, you turn it around, right? You're going in the right direction, and now they've gone completely the opposite way. And John Henry said, "Well, I've won you 4 World Series." Yeah, okay, we want to keep winning.
Yeah,
we don't want to stop winning.
That was yesterday. We don't care about yesterday around here. We're in Boston. We're in New England, buddy.
Yeah.
All right. So now
I might have to raise my wife above the Red Sox.
She
39 years. She
should be.
She might finally.
She should be.
We got to let Andrew close Red Sox things. He's the man.
God.
All right. So we're going to move right into we're going to get off this topic. We were actually going to talk Patriots draft, just NFL draft first, because it just happened. That's what we're getting into now. All right. Next segment here. We got a little, one of us got a little riled up about the Red Sox because he just loves them so much.
I love them so much.
And by the way, they have taken a step back on off air, we found out that the Red Sox have taken a step back on your
No, let's not go that far.
on your
I
favorite
said
list.
they're working their way. Right?
All right,
If they don't,
I heard different.
Yeah,
I don't know.
over the next like 10 years, if they don't right the ship, then
He almost hates the Red Sox as much as Ryan hates the Steelers.
you know what? That's
Is that better, Ryan?
that's
There you go, man.
That was better.
how's Jaron Duran doing?
Cowboys.
Yeah. How's Jaron Duran doing?
Oh my God! I told you were right about that. I never doubted you on that one.
Yeah, we gotta catch
The
that
things you
shit
guys
out.
would come up with would just be.
I actually put money on that.
Yeah, me
remember
too.
him winning
God.
the
Me too.
I don't see
No
that.
cash out.
You know what? The
That
best,
money's gone.
the best thing would be getting traded. Maybe that's the only chance he has.
Only chance he has.
I mean, let's get away from the Red Sox. Let's get away from the Red Sox because we can keep going.
digress.
All right, so Patriots draft, NFL draft. Of course, we got an Eagles fan. We'll touch on that a little bit. Just draft overall. Patriots. I'll just go through it right now. Give you so the Patriots took an offensive tackle, swing tackle. I think early he's going to be a good depth piece. I'll go over it after. Think there might be something more to this pick. Me and Ryan were just talking about that. My favorite guy they got in the whole draft was the second-round pick, Gabe Jackas. I think that kid could be – he's an edge rusher, strong. It's funny, his comparison that I saw was Matthew Judon. But I think he's, more violent than Judon. At that initial take, he's a violent guy. I really like him in this defense, the way the Patriots play. I don't see him starting right away because of the two guys they have now. The kid they just signed, Jones, and then you got Landry. But with Landry's injuries, this kid I see as a double-digit sack guy in the NFL. He to me is that type of kid. Strong, super strong, athletic, fast. The one thing about him that I noticed and just looking, of course, and I didn't see it. I looked at him after they took him, and kind of went to go see his strengths and stuff. He's my favorite. They took that tight end from Notre Dame, third. I guess he's he's real tall, athletic, was
Big guy.
probably fourth or fifth top-rated tight end. So I think they got him right where he was projected as going. Next guy they took off the board was a cornerback from Wake Forest. Supposedly pretty good player, this kid. I heard a lot of things, but again, you hear a lot of good things about all these guys as they get drafted because honestly, they were the better players on their teams, all of them.
Right.
So they were doing good things. Took a huge tackle, offensive lineman in the 6th round. I don't know if you've seen the kid from Texas A&M.
I didn't see him. No, yeah.
Big guy. Big guy. 6'7", I think. 6'7",
319.
Yeah, big dude. He's a project, but could be something. The one thing to me, and I'll go right to you after this one. The one thing to me I notice here, I don't see a wide receiver getting drafted on a team who needs receiving. I wonder why. What do you think about this Patriots draft? And you could get into we'll get into the Eagles a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, so I thought going tackle in the first round made sense. They traded up. Kid looks good. Lomu, he looks nasty. I feel like if you can shore up that offensive line in the Super Bowl, the only thing that stood out was that Drake May was kind of running for his life a little bit and getting hit. If that makes a swap where Campbell moves inside or, if he stays outside, whatever the case would be. I know they added Elijah Vera Tucker too. So it's always a good thing to strengthen your offensive line. Some of the other guys, they look good. Like you said, all these guys look good coming in the draft. They're all the best players off their team. So we'll see how it plays out. I think it makes a lot of sense. But yes, in relation to wide receiver, you did not draft any wide receivers. And as an Eagles guy, my favorite receiver, granted, he didn't seem like the sharpest knife in the drawer, but Mekhi Lemon looks like a stud. And us trading up to go get him, I mean, if that doesn't spell that A.J. Brown's on the way out, whether it's to you guys or to someone else, seems pretty apparent at this point. And, to touch on how that trade went down where, he was on the phone with with the Steelers, we're bringing you in, Omar Khan said,
Yeah, that
you're
was.
going to be a Pittsburgh Steel. Oh, why is Philly calling? And then they went in there. Howie's just the man. He makes all the right moves. Well, not all the right moves. He makes a lot of great moves. And when there's a talented guy there, whether it's Jalen Carter, who has issues with the law, he's not scared to go out and take them. And it usually works out. He drafts talent. And I think we had a good draft. And I'm always curious to see how it plays out, But that's where I stand. We'll see what happens with A.J. Brown.
Andrew, what do you think?
So I think the Pats have ultimately hit on like most of their needs, right? My issue is if you have a first round pick and you're going to trade up in the first round, why are you drafting a backup offensive tackle?
Yeah, I'm going to tell you why I think it happens.
But I don't think so. I just don't, unless there is another reason, right? He projects to be behind. He needs some time to develop, right? So you're going to draft a guy for a need when there's other positions. You're going to tell me there wasn't anyone else you could get at that point that could help your team potentially be a starter now. It's a first round pick. You want to take a guy in 3 or 4 to build up to be a starter. Okay, fine. But all they keep saying to me, this is one option it could be is they don't really believe that Will Campbell is the future left tackle. I think they're saying that for his confidence.
They want him to be. They want him to be. Right.
I don't think they believe that. And I don't. So Morgan Moses is 35, so he's getting old. So you want to get a guy to be right tackle? Okay, fine. But you can get that guy later on in the draft.
Could have, yeah.
Right. So again, I agree with you. I love their second round pick. I like the cornerback they drafted. I like the tight end. I think he has some promise, especially if you have him. You put him in that offense right now. As like a second tight end, I think eventually he can work his way
Now,
up.
let me ask you just about him. I don't know if you know any of it. Was he like a receiving tight end more?
Yes.
Which is good. I think they need. I think that's the guy they need right now. Is more of a receiving tight end.
Yeah. So obviously not calling him Gronk, right? But like Brian Hoyer was saying, he has like the build of Gronk. Does he have his athleticism and his speed? Not to probably the same extent, but that's kind of the build that he has, right? So if you're going to tell me that he's your second option at tight end, right? And then if you do pull off a trade for A.J. Brown and now you have that receiving core with that quarterback and that running back, right? And then you have something there. Listen, they could be right. It's a new regime, right? So they could hit on this guy and we look back on it and this could end up being a great draft. My gut is, why are you drafting a backup offensive tackle with your first pick, trading up for him? Right. You know what I'm saying? Either that shows the lack of faith they have in Will Campbell, and they're like, hey, we think this guy is a better left tackle than Will Campbell could be if Will Campbell fails, which to me, that's not a good sign. Or they just, I don't know, they just made a bad pick. Like, there's no other option to it.
Now, they took a quarterback too, didn't they, at some point?
I mean, that was kind of quiet. I don't know why they did that either.
Texas Tech guy.
Yeah.
I think they were going to take one.
Round.
I think they were going to take one regardless.
And guys like that, like Edelman was a quarterback that we took out of we took in the 7th round.
They took the kid out of
Jam Miller, the running back.
Oh, yeah, the running back from there. You know something about
Alabama
him?
Running backs usually work out.
Right. So 7th round again. So my take on the whole thing, I just went over them a little bit real quick. I think this draft reeks of A.J. Brown being added to the team. Just to me, with the way they needed a receiver, regardless. They got Dobbs. They got some people there, but they needed somebody. And I think, again, I read somewhere, we were talking about this earlier, I read somewhere that Philly really liked Lomu as a tackle. I don't know. Could that pick have been made for Philly? Could be. I think there's rules against that. Yeah, right. Technically, actually, is there a rule against that? Like that you could draft for somebody else and trade the player later?
So not like they do in the NBA. So like in the NBA, they'll set it up. Teams will draft someone. They'll make a trade for picks, but then that team will draft that person and then immediately trade him.
Right. It's
you
immediate.
Can't work it like that.
Right. So I don't know how.
They'd have to do it like a handshake agreement type of thing. Like,
but technically, is that against the rules or like these handshake?
I don't think so.
I don't know. I'm just curious how it works because it's not tampering. It's not like you're literally working with the other team. It ain't like you're going to the player.
I mean, the only way I can see it being against the rules is that now you know that you have a deal in place and you're specifically like waiting to avoid a tax penalty.
Right. Yeah,
So
I'm
I don't
just
know if
curious.
It's like technically
and
that's
this could all
against
be
the rules. Like
right.
you agree to a trade, but you're not executing it because you're trying to wait to avoid a tax. So maybe that's like some sort of weird.
And I'll be honest with you, this was something I read, I think, somewhere that could be part of the A.J. Brown deal is the reason they took him there, which to me would be great because I'd definitely rather give up a pick this year than next year, my opinion. Again, but Caleb Lomu, everything I've seen from him, I've liked, except that stupid dance he did. Oh, God. Did you see that?
No, I haven't seen a dance.
The screen that comes up when you get picked,
yeah,
right on ESPN, it shows, and they do a little like dance.
I didn't see that.
Oh my God, his was. Watch it.
Yeah, I bet you was gonna be pretty good, man. He looked, his highlights. I mean, all the highlights.
Right.
He looked good when I.
So that's what I mean.
So I just looked it up real quick. So it says it's not against the rules for a team to draft a player and immediately trade him to another team, which is a legal way to draft a player for another team. They cannot collude to have one team use a draft pick on behalf of another team without a trade in place.
Right. So I'm just curious if there could be a trade in place that we don't know about. But again, to me, taking him, I know, Andrew, it's a backup right now, swing tackle type of thing, 100%. But, man, your biggest asset is Drake May. And you've got to protect that kid. And if this will help you, whether it's already, even a little bit this year, because a guy on the right side, definitely older, did a great job last year. I don't think he missed the game for us. But I think and I agree, if their intention is to keep this guy and your number one thing is protect that kid. Protect number 10.
No, I know, but
I think that's just my opinion on the whole pick.
It's just weird that they did it the way they did it because I agree you have to protect Drake May, but he was the 7th offensive tackle taken. Right. So if he's that good,
he should.
Why was he number 7? Number 1 and number 2. If he does have some work, you're going to tell me around that time there wasn't someone else you could take to help you.
Granted, great point. 100%.
On the edge.
I love that kid that was there from
that guy. Who did the Bills take? Like you're going to tell me if you really need help on the edge, you could.
It wasn't the Bills, was it? Who took the kid from
TJ...
Clemson? Yeah, the kid from Clemson.
Yeah,
was it the Bills? Yeah, that's
they
the
traded
guy.
out of the first round to take him, right?
Yeah.
So it's like you're gonna. I just feel like a
guy
like
a lot.
that could have helped your edge rush. I mean, I think I looked up. They were like 19th in pass rush.
Well, they definitely need edge rushing, which
you could have gone hit that guy at the end of the first round and Jackus right in the second round, and then you still could have got that piece to help your offensive line later on.
A little bit, maybe in the third here instead of taking
it's just,
again,
it ended up working out. It's weird that you're going to draft in the first round a guy who
essentially is a backup.
Well, you don't know if he turns out to be the best tackle in the league. Like they get paid a lot more money than we do to assess these guys. Maybe they looked at him and thought like, "Hey, he's a slam dunk, bro." There was
a few.
It's possible he's better than
there was a few of the guys that really loved him. Said his ceiling was huge for this guy, size.
Everything. Long arms.
Footwork.
Real long arms.
Fairly small hands.
They
draft Will Campbell, who has short arms
and big hands.
And now, and now this year they're like, all right,
they're gonna put them together.
I don't know. Are they gonna break them off? Like, all right,
make them one guy.
We have an idea. All right, we're gonna take your hands, put it on you. We're gonna take your arms, put them on you.
But again, I think this draft was one of those drafts of the Patriots where you're like, the young kids, they hate this draft because there's nobody there that's like.
I don't think it was a great draft overall.
Yeah, it really was.
For anybody.
Like, Fernando Mendoza, number 1.
Right.
He didn't really pop to me. Like, I'm not sure he's the guy.
Well, Mendoza, I hit Jeff pretty hard, and I apologize.
Jeff loves him.
On that group text we have, I don't know if you read, I have hit Jeff pretty hard.
I saw some of it. I did.
Well, it's just because I'm a diehard Patriots fan. Like you are with the Red Sox, I'm there with the Patriots right now. And it's funny how, for years, and of course, they won. Was there some shady things going on that have happened with them and every team? I don't care what people say.
There's actually a website you can go on to see if your team's cheated, what your team's been busted for cheating.
But the thing to me is, all of a sudden, when they sucked for those years, we didn't hear much hate
Right.
of the
no.
Patriots. Now, all of a sudden, oh my God,
Well-
here it comes again. And
Sometimes we bring it upon ourselves.
right, do we get a hit on this Vrabel thing? I don't
I
really.
think we should.
I
That's
don't
goofy.
really want to get into it too much because the way I feel about it is he's an idiot for what he did, but we can. What does it have to do to me with the team?
I mean, I guess when you talk about like leadership, right? So when he goes and talks to those players, right?
Portrays
how
himself
does he,
in a
how
certain
does
way.
he kind of put his foot down on certain things, right? But I don't know because he used to be a player, so he knows how it works,
Right.
right? So I don't even know if he would in that aspect. And the way I look at it is, it's not great, right? But no one's perfect, and we don't know what his personal life is really like
At home, what has
yeah,
been going
and
on?
I'm not saying anything negative towards his wife. Like
Right.
we don't, none of us know
Right,
that whole
right.
thing, right? So it's a big deal because he's a head coach of the New England Patriots.
Public figure.
So it's going
all
to be
that.
talked about when you make the mistake, and you're a regular person. No one can really know about it, right? Besides you and your inner circle. But when you're him, everyone's going to know about it. It's going to seem worse. And, you know, if he just doesn't keep making that same mistake, then okay, fine. He moves on. I don't think it affects him being the head coach of the Patriots. I don't think it's going to affect his relationship with the players, right? If anything, it might make them, there might be an aspect to this where they might actually look at him in a better light, right? Because if he owns up to it and says, hey, guys, like, even I'm not perfect, this is what we need to do better. This is what I'm working on. You know what I'm saying? It might make him a little bit more relatable than he was.
Mhm.
You know, you still would rather not have that situation.
100%.
You know,
Yeah.
but
It's a distraction.
yeah,
It's
I
100%
mean,
a distraction.
you know, Diana Rossini,
Yeah.
she's a whole other because she was trashing her husband before this, and now this happened.
Yeah,
you know,
I-
she's a whole other level of something.
I think. Go ahead. Touch base on it, Ryan, if you want.
I agree with you a lot there because I was talking to some guys at work about it. And, you know, we don't know what Vrabel and his family life situation is. That's his personal life. We don't know how they operate. It could seem a lot worse to us than it could be. We don't know. So
Right.
I don't want to speculate. And you know, it's not a great thing. I don't think it's a good thing to do, obviously. But again, that's not my life. And the way that he addresses it with his team is very important because, you know, if he tiptoes around it like, oh, it wasn't like that, it's going to look bad. If he takes it like a man and says, I screwed up, I'm not perfect, tries it to spin it as a positive as much as he can.
Right.
It's obviously a negative situation. But I don't think he should lose his job over it because, like you said, if it happens to anyone regular person, you know, it's between him and his family, and he's not going to get fired from, you know, I work at Wonderful. I'm not going to get fired from Wonderful for that. You know, it's like, it's between me and my family if that's the case. And it's the same for him. He's just more of a public figure. So we're looking at it a little more differently. But we'll see what happens from it. It's not a great thing. I know it's been happening for a long time, but again, we don't know what his family life is. And I think it looks worse for Diana Rossini just because she's a reporter. And like, you don't know if she was using that type of scenario to gain leverage on making her job better type of thing. It's not good for either of them. It's not a good look. I don't like it. I'm not a fan of the whole thing, but I leave it as what it is. It's been all over social media like crazy.
Yeah.
The memes are aggressive.
Oh, the
as
internet's,
you'd expect.
so
Yeah.
defeated. Yeah, which that stuff I don't mind. It's funny, whatever. Like, what I don't like though is now there's more pictures coming out, right? Like of them in that bar in New York City.
Yeah.
For me, I'm like, that's just unnecessary, right? I understand he's a public figure, but you're almost beating him while he's down, right? Like the private investigator was hired by someone, right? On the internet, they're talking about maybe it was possibly her husband, which would make sense, right?
Yeah.
Right.
But okay, so that came out, and those initial pictures came out. This whole thing's now blown up. But now there's someone out there who has always had this photo,
Mm-hmm.
and now is suddenly
6 years, you said.
gonna just get rid of it.
Right.
Why? Just to kind of, you know, beat them while they're down? Like, I just don't think no one should really be treated like that. But I think at the same time, if you don't have an affair, then you don't have to worry about it.
Right.
Right.
I
Yep.
think
Absolutely.
I think it's he knows he screwed up.
Yeah.
I think how do I explain it? How do I say it? I think they've probably been hooking up for a while. Them two, something about whatever.
At least 5 years.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
And dude, they got caught I think they got complacent in what they were doing. Maybe it got normal for them. You know what I mean? Just kind of whatever had been happening, and he screwed up. I think from my understanding, just listening to what's been said and what I've heard, he did talk to the team, talk to his bosses, talk to his family. Had to be super tough conversations. He seemed like he was. I don't think any of the players have come out and said what he actually said to them, but my understanding from some of the really close Patriots guys, reporters that are really tight with the team, I think being a former player and the way they took it, and because I mean, a lot of them might be going not similar things, but different things in life that players and temptations, and we couldn't. We're not players, we're not pros, but you can imagine the temptations these guys get in every city and everywhere they go. Doesn't make it right at all. I'm not saying that, but I think in a situation like this, the only thing you could really do is that, in my opinion, is kind of get up there, admit what happened. Has he done that yet? Not to me, but he doesn't need to do it to me. Mm-hmm. He doesn't need to admit anything to me personally. I'm not, but I think his team, his family, and the people he works for deserved that, and I think he did it. So hopefully things work out for him and his family. Seems like he wants it to work out. I think this is why he kind of took a step back yesterday. That didn't make much sense to me at all.
I think that was more of a PR thing.
Right. It didn't make much sense to me at all. Like, was it like a little suspension that they gave him to kind of, I don't know. It was weird. Yeah, it was weird.
That's the whole part of it.
But again, that's what we we had to hit the Vrabel thing a little bit, but let's let that be. Overall, draft, I think Mendoza, I think the kid looked great especially in that last year in Indiana. That was one of the greatest years. I mean, he has it, I think. I know you said you're not sure. I think he has it because he can make all the throws, tough as nails.
He's a lot bigger than I thought he was.
Right.
When I saw his measurements, I was like, oh wow.
I just hope and nothing personal, man. It's that Raiders organization, man. People have gone there and it just hasn't worked. And again, hopefully for you fans, Jeff, hopefully it like ends up work, but it just seems, that there's a few organizations that, they go long periods of time where they just can't seem to figure it out. Right. And I think, and that one's weird because I know the dad, the owner now there, the dad used to be very controversial in his decisions and whatever, but back then they were successful.
Just win,
baby. He loved speed, that dude, right? Didn't he? He loved fast guys, but they won. And his son now but I don't think he really gets involved like too much with like acquiring players and right. I don't think so. What is it that's going so wrong there? I just don't know.
I don't know. I think it's just the people that they're hiring that put in that place.
Right.
They just, they just.
It's been a while now. It's been a while now.
It doesn't seem to. They don't seem to have any continuity or anything that.
There's a few of those teams
get some traction.
There's a few of those teams. The Jets come to mind right away. Browns now are in a funk. Don't get me wrong, because these teams they'll eventually break out of it, because of whatever. They'll hit on a few guys, but it's just weird how some team, you're not used to it as the Eagles, because it's because of that front office, man. Right. With New England, we went through 3 or 4, but since Kraft has bought the team, how can we complain? So things have been working. So some of these teams that it's a struggle, and
Maybe the Raiders have secretly hired Driveline to come in and
Oh, God.
do their player development analytics.
All right.
That might be
All right. Now let's talk about some.
Yeah.
Some
Well, hold on real quick. So I know we talked about AJ Brown. You know why I think he might not for sure be a Patriot yet? Is I wouldn't be surprised. There was rumors that they were trying to talk about trading him, but then they backed off.
the Rams.
The Rams, and then they made that questionable pick of Ty Simpson. So it's like I understand that you still have Jalen Hurts, right? But Jalen Hurts hasn't exactly had the last they won the Super Bowl, but it's kind of been like a rough going. It's like moving forward.
No.
So I think
don't say that. AJ Brown's coming.
I'm just saying that I think they could still be like laying in the weeds, see how the draft goes.
But that one was supposed
right?
to be Devontae Adams. Now, but do they really need Devontae Adams now?
Well, no, but that's what I'm saying though. I mean, did you see Sean McVay when they drafted Ty Simpson in that press conference? Like, so there could be something else going on.
Yeah,
where,
what happened there?
What if the Eagles
he
don't? Maybe
pissed?
they backed off because the Eagles don't really want Devontae Adams just because of his age.
Do
It's
they
not
want
like
Ty
the
Simpson,
route
you
they're
think?
going, but.
They want Ty Simpson. Maybe they.
I mean, the Rams need a quarterback in the next few years.
Of course.
But I'm just saying that's a team that worries me where they might.
So
be able
what
to sneak
happened
in
there
and
with
get
what happened there with? Did he get upset, McVay? Did he like get upset that with a pick? Was that what happened? Kind of.
They said that they said he didn't know about the pick when they made it, but he came out and said he was frustrated by something else, and it wasn't the pick. He's like, no, I knew that we were picking him.
He also
I'm happy
never
with the
talked to
pick."
Ty Simpson the entire process.
Yeah, so it's interesting. It's like he was mad they made the pick, but then he backtracked and said, no, I was mad at something completely different, you know.
But then how do you pick a quarterback at 13? You're an offensive guru.
You're the
and
guy.
you've never talked to
Right?
Yeah,
With
you're
your
the guy.
first round pick
Yeah,
in years.
yeah, you're
So
the
that's
guy.
why I'm like,
You
he
take
still
the
might,
MVPs
they still might
back.
take him to be the guy, but I don't know if there's something else going on there where they might be this, you know,
I had heard
until June 1st, and until
I had
the
heard that-
the commissioner's office.
I had heard that in LA, the whole feeling is they were all going for 1 year at a time. Even McVay as the head coach of that
Right.
team. That's what I've been hearing.
Mhm.
So this kind of tends to go against that, right? This pick kind of
Yeah,
tends
it
to
does.
go to
Yeah.
that 1 year at a time thing.
Yeah.
So I think maybe that's the thing. So all right, enough draft talk. We're getting we need to keep moving through these things. We're gonna hit our two playoff teams right now that are going in. Celtics and Bruins. All right. Playoffs are here. Playoffs. I seen him the other day at the Celtics. He was on the sideline. I know he was there in game 3. Did you see AI? Allen Iverson there?
Oh, no kidding.
Oh, playoffs. No, playoffs
that's
was
not
Mora.
Jim Mora.
What did he
Jim
say?
Mora.
Practice.
We
He
talking
was
about practice.
practice.
We're talking
Yeah,
about
I know.
practice.
I was like, Jim Moore?
Yeah. I screwed that up. Sorry, guys.
Yeah.
I screwed it up. You know what I'll never forget about that Allen Iverson time about practice? He was wearing a Red Sox hat.
Was
But
he?
did it. Yeah,
It's interesting.
he was wearing a Red Sox hat. I don't know if he's a Red Sox fan or
Yeah,
not.
I don't know,
He was wearing a
He
Red
was
Sox.
so good.
AI. Oh.
He's no Larry Bird, but he was.
I mean,
I had to get
we
one.
could probably come up with a list that you might end up picking AI over Larry Bird.
No,
I don't know.
think so.
So,
Yes, Duncan.
Yeah, right. Yeah, you can find a list.
yeah,
Crossover.
crossover. Yeah.
Tattoos, more tattoos.
Yeah.
AI.
See,
Larry Bird got a tattoo.
see, he just admitted he'd take AI over Larry Bird for something else. So,
All right, let's shift here to the Celtics.
Good.
Celtics and Bruins, but we can start with the Celtics.
Yeah.
Real quick, just your thoughts on the Celtics, Ryan. Hit us with it.
I think they're going to have a gentleman's sweep. I think that they always have that one game against. It seems like it's always Philly too.
Game
but
2.
They just they come out. They play down to them. They don't play as well. I mean, Embiid's not even playing, and they just kind of underestimated them. They came out. They got smacked in the mouth. They lost the game. They responded well. Game 3. We'll see what happens tonight. But I just think they're a superior team, and I think that they'll at least get by this round, and we'll see what happens after that. But I still like them. Still like their chances to make it to the finals. You watch the Knicks. They're kind of struggling. You watch the Pistons. All the other series. Hawks are competing. I'm like, I don't know, man. I still feel like the Celtics are the best team in the East, and we'll see what happens. But I think they're gonna.
What do you think, Andrew?
I mean, I thought it would be. I don't think they should have lost a game at all to the 76ers, right? Which still scares me with this team. So they still, for whatever reason, cannot get over, after all these years, they still can't get out of their head where, okay, they dominate a team and then they take their foot off the gas pedal. And they say so much, like in their post-game press conference. They might not say it exactly, but they'll talk about how they didn't play with the right enough effort, or they didn't play with enough force, or need to be a little bit tougher, or recognize the situation. I'm like, guys, you're at the point now where you should recognize that this is a thing, and you should prepare to not let it happen. On top of that, when Jason Tatum was out, and I'm not blaming Jason Tatum.
Here we go. The Jason Tatum.
Nah.
You hate Jason Tatum as much as he hates Larry Bird.
This team needs to find a way to play the way they did without Tatum, with Tatum, right? Like, because, like, for instance, when Tatum was out, they kind of changed their philosophy a little bit. They still shot a lot of threes, right? But they didn't shoot as many. Jaylen Brown took more of the mid-range. They moved the ball more. Like, they were more getting more twos, but still shooting the threes when they were there. And then you look at the game they lost against the 76ers, and they put up 50 threes, and they only made 13 of them.
I know. That's
so, like,
that happens.
That's why they lost.
Well, that's how they usually lose.
Well, but my point is,
days,
right,
yeah.
but my point is, during most of the regular season, they were the number 2 seed in the East because they kind of got away from that a little bit. And then it's like Jason Tatum comes back, and it looks like it's Jason Tatum's fault, but they just start playing a little bit different. Just play the same way,
right,
but move the ball around with a guy who's now one of the best players in the NBA, with another guy who's one of the best players in the NBA, and they shouldn't lose, really, until they get to the finals. But, like, they very easily should have swept the 76ers. They'll beat the Knicks in 6 games at most, right? And then with the way the Pistons might not even make it out of the first round at this point. So Jeff's taking it, a couple of ways. But
Jeff, you mentioned Jeff quite a few times today.
So I'm just worried that, and even when they won the other day, they shot 47 threes, right? If they just miss 2 or 3 more threes, they lose again.
Right.
So it's like, I'm just worried that they're going to fall back into this thing that they've done the last couple of years that they might not be able to dig their way out of when you play better teams like the Knicks or the Thunder, or if he can get back from his concussion, the Spurs.
Yep, let's go Celtics Spurs. I got some money riding on that. But honestly, what I'm hearing is he's blaming everything on Jason Tatum. If they lose, so we got a Tatum hater here. No,
sure.
No, honestly, just to be, I think that I never thought they were going to sweep him. I'll be honest with you. If you go back and look, how many game 2s have they lost? I feel like they lose every game 2.
It seems like it.
Almost, it's the weirdest.
But that's also a problem when they don't.
It is. But they kind of did. I think in this game, this team to me, as much as we talk about Tatum and Jaylen Brown, they're not. And it's not an issue. What I'm about to bring, what I think, it's not an issue.
Sounds like it's going to be an issue.
I think this team, if Pritchett and Derek White are on, they're unbeatable. That's what I think. Because Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown are what they are. They scored 25 points, both of them, in their last game. Tatum might be right now at his position the best rebounder for his position in the league. He's that good rebounding at his position. So you get what I'm saying? If Pritchett and Derek White are on their game, I'm sorry, man. It'll be hard.
Yeah.
This kid, and I know I love you, Nemias, but I think Vucevic over the last couple of games has kind of stepped ahead of Kata because he brings a different dynamic to this. And again, it's the 3-point, it's the clearing out, but that's just what they do. That's Missoula ball. That's how they've been successful. That's how they have, some of the games that they've lost. Not some. I think when they do lose, that's why. Every time, just about. I know when Tatum was out, it was different. It seemed like they were more, what do you call it? Fast pace, more, up and down the court. Now they're more half court offense again. But I really think that's playoff basketball as well. It is a little bit more set. That up and down stuff in the playoffs doesn't really tend to get you very far. I think it comes down to, like, look at Oklahoma City. They're a set it up type of team, and that's why they're so great. You got so many great players, and the Celtics have that as well, in my opinion. Big shout out to the kid Shireman, too. I've loved seeing what that kid brings. I'd rather see him in there than Hauser at this point, but I get why they start Hauser and leave him to play more defense a little bit. But man, the kid he's been great. And again, that's a Brad Stevens. We can get into great. I know Howie is a great for the Eagles there, but Stevens for the Celtics has been phenomenal.
I think right now Brad Stevens is the best GM
that we got. NBA. I think he's the best one we got out of our teams.
Well, for sure, out of our teams. But I think in the NBA, he's the best one. And I used to say it was Oklahoma City's GM.
He's pretty good.
He's really good. Sam Presti's really good. But again, when you look at what Brad Stevens did,
it's different.
With his team.
Yeah, it's different.
I don't know that many GMs, and I don't know if you blame that many GMs for not being able to do it here.
Right.
Like it's wild.
Right. Presti, I think when you say that, I think his was more like because Celtics are more a big powerhouse, money's type of stuff. Presti was through the draft. You know, Stevens has kind of had to build this team in not only through the draft, where of course it wasn't him, Danny Ainge and Jaylen Brown. Two number 3 picks there.
We can actually thank the Sixers for that.
I know, and the Lakers.
Yeah. Yep.
Lakers.
They traded for Markel. They traded us the number 1 pick for Markel Fultz. We took Jason Tatum,
and they
the
took
Lakers
Lonzo
in between
Ball.
took Lonzo Ball.
Yeah, which I'll be honest with you, back then Lonzo was going there. Tatum, I was watching it. I'm a big Celtics guy. At the moment, did I want Tatum over Lonzo Ball? Me personally, I can't say I did, because Lonzo was Lonzo. You know what I mean?
I did not want Lonzo Ball.
I didn't know enough about Tatum.
Yeah.
But let's just put it that way. I didn't know enough.
For me, it was between Jason Tatum or Markel Fultz.
Yeah,
right. But again, you gotta listen. You gotta trust the process, as the Sixers would say.
Did you see the picture of when Tatum took that last 3 in the last game and then Embiid sitting on the bench?
That's what. Yeah.
They showed his face. He was just like,
listen.
You can see him.
As a Celtics fan, I will always trust the Sixers process. Whatever process they want to do,
whatever you want to call it.
I will have trust.
All right. Let's just break right into the Bruins now. Yeah. So, what do you think, Andrew? We'll let you start this one off.
I think what's happening to them now is what's happened to them basically throughout the season, right? So even going into the playoffs, Swayman was playing out of his mind. The team was just playing well overall, right? Geeky started scoring goals again, right? But it was really a team effort. They were just playing good overall hockey into the playoffs. Then they ran into, I think the Sabres had the best record in the NHL from, I want to say it was like December on. They were like some crazy record, right? And so they ran into a team like the Sabres, and they start to show that they can put up a fight, right? But you're up 2-0 game 1, and then you absolutely train wreck yourselves, right? And it wasn't just the defense, but Swayman, like, not keeping his pad on the ice and letting that puck just slip through. It's like I wanted to turn it off, and I couldn't. I'm watching this team up 2-0, and I'm like, hey, they might actually, stereotypical hockey thing, right? Where you have kind of a mediocre season, you're up and down, but then you start playing well at the end, and you just kind of take that into the playoffs, and then your goalie gets hot, and then you're just going to run to the Stanley Cup Finals, and then goal. That defense goal. He lifts up his pad. Next thing you know, not only within 4.5 minutes of ending the game are you not just tied and going into overtime, you've thrown up all over yourself and now are losing, and then you give up the empty netter, and then you score with 6 seconds left. Who the hell cares about that, right? But you give up 4 goals, 3 with an empty netter in the last 4 minutes of a game in which you were winning 2-0, and the Sabres couldn't get out of their own way.
I know.
Right? And then, okay, so you bounce back and win game 2. All right, good bounce back.
Huge response.
And then what happens again? You get out to a lead game 3, and then same thing. Your defense just and that's been their season though, where they show their overachieving potential for what they have, and then they just forget how to skate. It's crazy, but I mean, I still think they can win the series, and if they do, I think they have a good chance to make a good run. But I just this series I think is proving what we've kind of felt the whole season. The whole season is that they're too much like this, right? They just need more pieces.
What do you think, brother?
I think I agree with what you said. That was a tough way to lose game one. You're up 2-0 so late. You're like, oh man, you can steal this one. But I thought it was a great response to get it to 1-1. The goalie played great for Buffalo game 3. It's a whole new. Today is obviously, it goes without saying, this is a huge game.
Right.
Like if they lose this one, it's 3-1. You feel like it's almost like you're cooked. But if you can tie it, get to 2-2. The way that they've shown the heart, the way that they've played at times for 2.5 periods of game one, it's like you could easily take one more game, get to 3-2. They could win this series. I think it's interesting. Today's obviously a huge game, and then if you can get by Buffalo, who's been great since December, like you said, who knows what can happen the rest of the way if you can get by this round. So obviously, huge game today. I think Swayman's going to have a real, real good one today, and I think that hopefully they can pull it out and get the 2-2.
All right,
Jimmy?
So my opinion on this team, honestly, has been I haven't been high on them all year. I've said it on here that I think Sturm has done a great job this year with this team. They're that team that, again, when you don't expect, I didn't expect shit from this team.
No. No.
So being here down 2-1, no, I'm not okay with it. I don't, I was hoping, I thought they could actually beat Buffalo. I thought they got a good draw when it came down to who they were playing. And not because Buffalo's been great. They've had an unbelievable season. I think it was more because they're young, and the way the NHL works, young teams like that a lot will play great throughout the whole regular season and then come that first round of the playoffs. I thought the Bruins were more tested than them playoff-wise. They do have a lot of guys that have played in the playoffs. They do have young players, but I'm just whatever with it. I'll be honest. I don't think they're going to beat Buffalo now. I thought they had a chance. I just seeing the way this series has gone, I think Buffalo's better. I think Bruins got better goaltending, and Swayman was in game one, man. He looked amazing the first 2 periods. And then were any of the goals really his fault at the end? That could he have saved that one? Yeah. But I don't think it's Swayman. I've never been a big Swayman fan, but I don't think it's him. I just don't think they got the talent on the squad.
No,
Buffalo's
I think
better.
this is going to show they need some more pieces.
Yeah, Buffalo's better. Buffalo's a better team. We might have them in goaltending, like I said, but that's probably it.
I just think it's one of those things where you look at the series, right, and you could realistically be up 3-0. Right?
Yeah.
You were up 2-0 with 4.5 minutes.
Down 3-0 too, though.
Well, not really. It's not
yeah.
easy to see that because you were up 2-0 with 4.5 minutes.
Yeah, I get what
left.
you're saying.
So you win game 1,
I get
right?
what you're saying.
And then you won game 2.
Yeah.
And then game 3, you were up 1-0. I know it's just 1-0, but like you're up 1-0, and then you just kind of fall apart again. Where it's like, because what was the final score for game? It was a 3-1.
3-1.
Yeah.
So it's like you realistically were in a spot where expectations change depending on your performance, right? And the way they ended the season. I agree with you. Before the season, we make the playoffs, and we're like, hey, good season. But now you're here, and then the way you're playing against this Buffalo team, which, like I said, had like the best record in the NHL.
Yeah,
from,
for a
it was like
while.
November, December on, and to put yourself in that position, but then to lose the way you do, if they had just lost, like there've been some playoff series where it's like, all right, like the year they lost to the Blue Jackets, right? Maybe some bad officiating, some bad calls, but that team just beat them. Right. When they lost to the Blues, right? That team just kind of showed up and beat them. The Blackhawks beat them. But this team, it's like, you were beating that team.
Yeah,
and
right.
Right. Like
right.
that's what makes it more frustrating, where expectations are kind of should be different. But we'll see. I mean, hockey, I remember being watching them lose to Philadelphia where they were up, was it 3-0 or 3-1?
Yeah.
I went with my buddy to go see that game. They lost game 5 to Philly and lost every other game in that series. And I was
remember
like,
that.
I can't go to another playoff game.
And then the year after, they did the same thing to Montreal, I think.
Yeah.
Right? Wasn't it? Yeah.
Yep.
So, to me,
That's
I'll end this
so
segment.
great. You just don't know what's going to
I'll
happen.
end this segment with, so the Bruins as a team, to me this year, where they are, remember at the beginning of the season, they never picked a captain, and they never did throughout the year. So that kind of shows me what this team is.
Right.
They need something, right? If you don't have a captain, And a lot of people before the season said Passes. Just give him the C. Just give it to him. He's
Yeah. No, you can't just
McAvoy.
give it to him. Like,
McAvoy. Just give him the C. Do
Yeah.
any of them really show captain?
no.
Agree. Let's move right in. I know. Let's just move right in. It's this this episode is getting quite long again, but it is what it is. People, we kind of get into things. We enjoy doing this. Again, big shout out to Wayland City Youth Baseball League for having us here. Opening day next Sunday. We're psyched about that. Come down, check it out. Like I said, thousands of people's concession stand will be open. We can get some gear and just watch some kids play baseball. It's fun. It's a good time. Quick hits. I know you guys love this stuff. So I have a few over here. Nothing too crazy today. First one I was going to ask, I think we got our answer. So I was actually going to ask,
Oh boy.
did the Red Sox get it right? Did they fire the wrong? So
Red Sox haven't gotten it right for a long time.
Okay. So let me ask you this. One word. Just one word. We don't need to get into it. Describe the Red Sox right now. One word.
Brutal.
Brutal?
Brutal.
Embarrassing.
Embarrassing? I'm
What's your one
gonna
word?
I'm gonna say plump.
Well, hey, that worked last time. He
I
played
know.
really well.
The Red Sox are
Yeah, he
plump.
did.
Yeah.
Because like you said,
Plump.
last time I called Suarez,
He ran off a couple of good starts. So
I called him plump. So
yeah.
okay, so now we know what we think about the Red Sox. This one's probably an easy one too. Who's going? We'll start here since you answered the last one. Who makes? Who do you feel more confident making a run? Bruins or Celtics?
Celtics.
Celtics.
Yeah,
Celtics all the way around. I don't have too much faith in the Bruins right now. Let's just put it that way. And I do in the Celtics. So Patriots over under 10 wins.
You go first.
10 wins. Looking at this, it's hard, but it's messed up because I would probably put them right at 10. So if 10 is the number, I'm going to say they'll get 10 or more. So over. I like the over. Yeah.
So you like the
I like
over.
the over.
You can't say over under 10 and then
I
you
know,
just
but I'm
pick
right
10.
at 10.
Yeah.
I'm like right at 10.
I'll take the under, man. They got some stuff in the news going on. A little weird season. Great season last
Right,
year.
right,
I'll take a 9-8.
You just got to remember, it's 17 now. So
Yeah.
that's why I said
I'll take the under.
I was thinking 10-7, but I got to go now 11-6. So
9-8.
what do you got?
I'm going to caveat my opinion.
Oh, of course. And he gives me shit. He gives me shit.
If they complete this trade for AJ Brown, like everyone thinks is going to happen, which I'm still not sure of. I don't know. But anyways, if they make their trade for AJ Brown over 10 wins, I don't think they have that much of a regression with AJ Brown. If they don't trade for AJ Brown, if a team like the Rams swoops in and gets them, and they just have Romeo Dobbs and Keyshawn Boutte, whatever, then under. I just think they have a bigger regression. Like what, the 14-3 last year, right?
Yep.
All right.
So at most, with AJ Brown, they might lose 3 more games at most. I don't want to say they're going to. That's the worst they'll do is 11-6. But
This one ain't even on here, but I had a question for you guys. Do you have a second favorite football team?
I do. I'm an Eagles fan, but I live in New England, man. So
Pats?
I don't cheer against the Pats.
I don't think so. I don't
Yeah,
think
me
there's like
neither.
one team
Me
that
neither.
I,
Because
you
there's
know.
some people who do. Like
It's
you
a
might,
local thing.
maybe
you
a
know?
local thing. So I'm already a Pats fan. So I don't have that part of it.
Yeah.
But I was just curious because some people
No,
do.
baseball I do. Baseball I root for the Cubs and the Dodgers. I've always rooted for the Cubs and the Dodgers.
I knew I hated you.
I root for the Bears.
The
because my
Cubs-
son.
Listen,
My son's a
the
Bears
Cubs,
guy, so-
because they were with the Red
See,
Sox, right? They hadn't won for all those years, right? And Wrigley and Fenway, there's a lot of similarities. The Dodgers I've always rooted for because they were my first Little League team.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
See?
So now, last thing, I know what I think about the two of you with this question, but I want to see if you're going to be honest. with
That
me.
worries me when he starts
All right,
talking.
all right. So be honest here. You're that guy in the outfield, whether it's a home run or the foul ball. You're that fan, and that ball's coming at you. Are you reaching over to try to get it?
No.
Or are you
No.
like standing back?
No, I don't look like I just saw a ghost. But, I mean, I'm not reaching over the fence and interfering with the play.
Yeah, I'm not reaching over either.
See, me, I think this guy would try to go, he'd jump over a kid to get the ball. This guy, I agree. I think this guy would, like, punch the fielder in the head to take his baseball.
What do you think I am, Mike Vrabel, a liar in the field? What are we doing here?
No. Are you hating on Mike Vrabel still?
No,
now?
I'm just saying.
Now you hate Jason Tatum.
Yeah.
You
We're
hate
just
Mike
adding to the
Vrabel.
list. Adding to the list. You know?
No, so I just thought that you would get the baseball.
No, because I wouldn't want to interfere with the play. Wouldn't want to interfere
All right,
with the play.
let's opinions. Would he would he
Yeah,
not?
would I not?
Would he interfere with the play?
No.
Rich, what do you think? I think he
We'll see.
interferes with the play. I think he interferes with the play. So, with that being said, guys, you want to add anything else real quick? Anything you want to say here?
No, go Celtics, go Bruins.
Whaling City baseball.
Yep, opening day next week should be fun. It's always a good time. This place is always packed. Even people who don't are opening day. People who don't necessarily have kids on teams, they always show up for opening day and just kind of watch some of the games or see people they haven't seen for years.
Hang out,
it's just
yeah.
it's always it just shows the history and the
Think about it.
camaraderie that this
Think
place
about
has.
it. 76 years. Started with Eagles baseball. It was called, I think, for a couple of years.
Yeah.
We changed it to Whaling City. Not we. I wasn't back. Obviously, I wasn't around back then. I know I'm old, but
No, we're not Dave and Tommy.
yeah, Dave and Tommy,
Bruce, yeah.
a lot of guys that we love and are still down here. When you guys, that's some of the
We gotta
stuff we
figure out what's
talked
gonna
about.
happen when we don't have Stevie Carrero around to keep all this history.
Oh God, yeah, all these guys. It's amazing that the people that you meet down here, the friends I've made. I mean, I've been here for so long. Yeah, just come down, check it out. This place is. Think about 76 years of how many kids have played on these fields. 76 years. We literally have had since I've been here, which is going on. I don't even want to say how long. 400 kids a year, at least.
Yeah.
You know, it's been a consistent thing. It was going up for a while. Now it's kind of plateaued. But just thinking about how many kids have played in this place, in this league, it's actually phenomenal just to be part of it. I'll be honest with you. I love this place. Like I said, I'm no longer coaching here. This is my first year not coaching in long time, but as you all can see, I'm here. Andrew is the treasurer of the league. We put in a lot of time down here, along with there's people who put in more time than us, and we appreciate it all. We're just hoping to have a successful year down here, and come and check us out. 508, episode 7. Right?
Maybe
7 or 8, something like that, wherever we're at. We're going to stop counting them now.
Yeah,
because I can't keep saying that. Thank you, 508, and we'll see you next time.
see you 508.
All right?
Yeah! All right! Where? Yeah! Hey! Fight the way, sports talk, turn it up, tap in. South Coast sound, let the talk begin. Boston roots, local pride, real fans talking, no place to hide. Wins and losses, highs and lows. Draft day buzz, trade rumors flow. Game nights, debates get loud.